Comic A podcast, and thank you guys so much for coming down here and joining us, and all these fine gentlemen. Gentlemen, please introduce yourselves.
My name is Brian Volk, Weiss, and I direct a toy store near you. Sorry, wrong toy store.
My name is Bun. I'm from Super Happy Incredible Toys, and we were lucky enough to be featured on season 4, episode 1 of A Toy Store Near You.
My name's Colin, also with Super Happy Incredible Toys on that season of The Toy Store Near You.
We're missing one more person. We're waiting on this guy, but Russell, kick off the first question for Brian Volk.
So I definitely want to know, you have a couple of other very successful shows. What inspired you to start a toy shop near you?
So A Toy Store Near You, the bad news was inspired by COVID. I was talking to a friend of mine who owns my home store, Blast from the Past in Burbank, California. And
Great store, by the way.
It really is, yeah. It's heaven. It's like the closest thing I have to like a church or a temple. So I was talking to him, and in California, I don't know what was going on in Texas, probably the opposite. But we had to not go outdoors for a good 6 months, and it was like the Wednesday before quarantine kicked in, and I was talking to the owner, Larry, and I said, hey, what happens when you have to quarantine and everybody and all that stuff? How does that work? And he's like, well, I'm not really sure because nobody's done this in 100 years, but if I understand it correctly, I don't have money coming in anymore, but all my expenses stay the same. So when I heard that, I was like, well, what can we do to help? So we're a production company, we make TV shows, and I was like, we can make a TV show. So that's what we did. And season 1 was very much about how the stores were dealing with COVID. And that was not received very well. A lot of people were like, hey, I'm really depressed about COVID, and I was excited to watch a show about toys, and all y'all did was talk about COVID. So by season 2, we stopped talking about COVID, and now it seems to be much more popular. But that was the inspiration was, we're giving the majority of the profits back to the stores, but also giving them as much publicity as possible.
Well, very nice. Joining us on the stage is Mr. Juan. Juan is the episode 1 of A Toy Store Near You. Juan, introduce yourself. What's going on?
What's up, Juan?
And Juan, I just want to give you a heads up. The people in the back row are really disrespectful and loud. So, no, not you. The people back there. The people all the way back there. So, just a heads up.
But here's Juan. He is the episode 1 of season 3. Season 4 started the show.
Episode 1.
What's going on, Juan? Please introduce yourselves. Yeah, you're Juan, but what else do you do in Houston?
What's up? I'm Juan Salazar. I'm the owner of Super Happy Incredible Toys here in Houston, and that's it.
Now, follow-up question for Bunneth and Colin. What do you guys do at Super Happy here in Houston?
Oh, well, a little bit of everything. We help buy lots. We run the store. We help out at cons like this. Sometimes we get to travel across the country, which is a lot of fun. Personally, I help write some of the social media content. I approve some of Juan's social media content. I'm kind of the minister of propaganda. We try to be respectful.
We have one of those.
All right.
My role has changed over time. I think so. Currently, it's more of character actor for
That's true.
videos.
Wait a minute. You think you're a fucking character actor?
You've made me a character actor.
He's a pretty good Vincent Van Gogh.
On that note, you really try to run one over with a car?
Yes. The short answer is yes.
Yeah, let's get into why did you try.
Why y'all gotta bring up old shit?
Because I think we should talk about that. We've never talked about this.
We have talked about
Y'all have never aired the clear the air?
Look, I think he tried to run me over with the car because he knows he can't beat my ass from the one. That's why he had no choice.
So he had to bring in the heavy.
He had to bring in the car.
That happened once.
Look, we play around a lot.
Yes.
You know, that's what happens. We play around a lot.
That was.
Things get heated.
Yeah, who hasn't pretended to commit vehicular manslaughter on their friend when they're playing around?
You were never going to do it though, right? Like you just tried to scare me. You were never going to actually do it.
I would never act on that. Yes, you're correct. That did happen. That threat did happen. That's in a period of time we refer to as the dark days for Colin.
There's a lot of days.
You weren't expecting this.
I'm excited to be in the middle of it.
Juan and I were still getting to know each other at that time.
Y'all had known each other for like 6 years
No.
by that point.
You know, there is a court thing they're doing downstairs. Like maybe you should bring it to the
Well, I know a lawyer.
Comicpalooza
too, but,
court thing.
Anyway, so the short answer is yes, that happened.
Are we going to talk about toys?
Yeah, actually. So,
Thank you.
Juan, when Brian approached you about the show, or did you? How did you guys actually connect on it?
Actually, Colin sent me a link. Right, like Colin was the one that's like, hey, Mark Balomo put this thing out that he's looking for this thing for a show, and here it is. And so I think we had to do like a little audition. We had to send out like a 15-minute video. We talk about ourselves and talk about what we're about, and put it together and send it to Nacelle. And so that's what we did. So yeah, I have to admit, Colin is the entire reason we were on a toy store near you. Because if it wasn't for Colin, we would have never submitted the video.
Then you can forgive him for trying to run you over with the car.
No, I don't care if he tried to run me over with the car. I just like to bring it up.
I think he got promoted for trying to run it over with the car.
Gotcha. So then, what kind of follow-up question to Brian? What kind of stood out about Juan's video interview, or however that went?
I'm going to be completely honest, as I always am, or at least try to be publicly. Yeah, I didn't know we did that with the audition thing. So from my point of view, and I'm not saying Juan is wrong, I'm sure he's right, but from my point of view, and by the way, it's worth mentioning, I own the company. I'm not the only person at the company. So a guy named Rich Myrek, I think deserves a lot of credit, and because Rich is the day-to-day producer of the show. And from my point of view, we had done a big season 3 premiere party for Toys That Made Us, our other toy show. That one is on Netflix. And when we decided to do a toy store near you, we already had a mailing list because of that season 3 toy store premiere party that we did worldwide. And I believe, and I could be wrong, Juan, you tell me, you'll know better than me, I think you guys were a part of that. And because of that, you were on the list. No? Maybe no.
I don't remember, but I don't really remember things like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And if you were in season 4, there's a chance I was wrong. But that being said, the way it works is when we select a store, or they select us, or mutually, we send a list of questions and a list of topics that we need covered, and then the stores, this is what's not well known, the stores actually shoot the show themselves, then they send us the footage, we edit the whole thing together, and then we put it out. And if there's stuff missing, we ask them to shoot more, and more, and more, and more, because I get a little artsy-fartsy, and then we put the show out. So that, at least from my point of view, that's how we do it.
Yeah, we actually didn't have to really reshoot anything. Y'all were able to pull a lot of
Yeah,
people.
you guys were great because you all, and again, I'm not disrespecting any other stores, but you guys were great because you have a lot of charisma, and it was just very easy to make your episode. The episodes that are harder to make, it's about the charisma of the people who are the owners, and the more charisma they have, the easier a job we have making the show. So it makes sense to me we didn't need pickups.
And I remember the audition tape. It was actually, he wanted us to talk about, like, it was like 5 of our favorite toys or something like that. So if it's something me and Juan can do. It's talk about toys. So we picked like some random stuff. You remember? It was like strawberry shortcakes, sectars, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we had also recorded a lot of stuff ourselves before that, for ourselves. So we had a catalog of, again, my character acting, the random videos that Juan did a fucking amazing job writing and filming for us, I think probably also fit into that.
Yeah, agreed. And as I think you know, we used a lot of your prior stuff as well. It was that good.
Yeah.
I have to admit, Colin, you killed it as Vincent Van Gogh. You were brilliant as Vincent Van
That's
Gogh.
like the most compliments I've ever heard Juan give Colin, ever.
Well, there's also Outback.
It's a great
weird
steakhouse.
version of Mattress Mac, for lack of a better comparison. But
So as you guys see on stage, that there's a colorful cast of characters up on the stage. Guys, please take us to a day in life in a toy store near you, and also on Super Happy Incredible Toys. What goes on at Super Happy Incredible Toys daily? I know you guys have a Friday show that you do, and a Friday giveaway, and also Colin's mystery box. How did that come about?
Well, I think there's a couple of different stories for Colin's mystery box, but basically a typical day at Super Happy Incredible Toys is I come in and I bitch about everything, and everybody jumps and does stuff to make me happy because they don't want to see me grumpy. But the thing I'll give everybody credit for at the store is I come up with these wacky ass ideas, like random stuff. Like, hey, we're gonna film a commercial where you dress up as Outback, or we're gonna film a little commercial where, you know, I become this superhero called Captain Shithead, and everybody takes it seriously. Like, you can do this stuff and you can propose it to people, and everyone will be like, no, I'm too mature for this, or I'm too, you know, who I am to play these ridiculous characters. But nobody at the store ever says no.
So you're surrounded by a bunch of yes men.
No, I'm surrounded by a bunch of people that believe in what the store is. I mean, so
A bunch of yes men. So
you can call it yes men if the answer to the question is, do you want to become something bigger than what the store is? Then yeah, the answer is fucking yes.
if I can interject for just a second, we're a family. It's not about somebody does this to do this. It's about camaraderie, us doing this because we all care about the store, care about each other. Yeah.
So
And
Colin,
then vehicular almost homicide. That hasn't been brought up in about 4 minutes.
Wait, say that again?
The almost vehicular homicide.
Well,
I just want to keep it on the front page.
that's what families do sometimes.
That's right. They do. It's true.
The funny thing about the vehicular homicide thing was it lasted
That
like a
happened
second.
once.
It lasted like a second, but
Right.
we like to continue to bring it up because it's funny.
Right. But there's things that there's other things we like to bring up a lot.
That was it. There's nothing else.
No, there's more.
I mean, there's more dirty laundry. You gonna bring up some dirty laundry?
I mean, there's things. I mailed a snake once overnight. There's that.
So Colin has this thing where he FedExed a live snake from Atlanta to where?
I think Boston.
And anytime you bring up FedEx, like you say, oh man, I gotta FedEx a package, Colin reminds you, we FedExed a snake from Atlanta to Boston. It's just something he does.
And
That's fantastic.
Well,
The snake live?
It's something.
Did the snake live?
Yes, of course.
That's even better.
I also bought sandworms, dune sandworms, repeatedly because I forgot I already had dune sandworms. So there's other things that we do that are running jokes. Those are being some of them. That's why I brought those things up. And also Juan dared me to bring up the mailing snake thing while we're here, so I did.
So,
Next
Brian,
question.
we've heard a lot of antics especially from the shit show. You've done a lot of shows and episodes with other toy shops. Are there like lessons? You have your own toy shop with vintage, right?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's in the plans. So, with that, what's something that you kind of like learned from these guys that you would want to implement within your own shop?
Well, I don't know if this counts or not, and this could be why I should not open my own toy store, but this show in particular, it's kind of like the TV production version of insider trading, because I'll literally be watching a rough cut and be like, ooh, is that still available? And I'll literally start texting the owners, hey, is that by any chance still available? What's the price? So it has not been great for my wallet producing this show, but no, I mean, one of the things I've learned, and it's weird, as much as I'm in the toy business and we're making this show and we're talking to owners of toy stores almost every day now, it still amazes me, like literally blows my mind, that these stores can find new product at a volume at which they can stay in business. And I'm always like, how many Cobra Commanders can Tacoma have? Like, how many people are dying or getting divorced that there's another Battle Cat that you can buy? Like, that's what blows my mind.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
I mean, it must be, because they're always
only Beanie Babies were valuable, we'd be wearing gold pants.
I thought that your most expensive product was a Beanie Baby.
What?
No, I thought you had one on display.
It was at one point, but that was a joke.
Yeah.
Because of the hype that Beanie Babies had,
Yeah.
that people wanted to sell them. So yeah, we had one random ass Beanie Baby we put like $5,000 on.
You got any offers?
No.
Well, the problem is people saw it and they'd be like, oh, we got this at home. Look how much it's worth. And they're like,
You're adding
you have to
to it.
break it to them like, no, it's a joke. Like, what kind of joke is that? And they're like,
It's reality.
It's a good one. So then, like on that note, how do you guys come across a lot of your product? Like, where do you find it?
me or the stores?
Store, sorry.
Yeah.
So for the most part, it's people's personal collections. I would say most of it. Either people decide to like move from one focus to another focus. It happens all the time. Like you start out as a Joe guy, you're tired of Joes, you want to do Transformers, you sell that, blah 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 blah. And you know, if you can use your hobby to supplement your hobby, that's the best way to go about it.
And then there's people like me that change focus and don't stop the prior focuses. So the amount of focuses continue, much to somebody's chagrin in a white hat in the audience.
But
So that's called being a hoarder, right?
It's getting close to that, yeah. It's getting crazy. I had Billy Galaxy took me aside at a convention recently. It was like, can we talk?
So I've seen like videos of your collection, and it's pretty organized. So you're not. I don't think you're in a hoarder in a hoarder place yet. Like if you're taking things and putting them in a storage bin.
No, that I'm not doing.
Okay.
That's a rule for me.
That's
no.
important.
That's a rule for me. Like if I'm buying it, it has to go on display.
You do loose too, right? You don't just do carded stuff.
I'm much more loose. In fact, a lot of my friends make fun of me where they'll be like, hey, we just got this in, no box. And like everybody wants the box but me, because I like to see the actual toy. I like it on my shelf, and I don't like to buy the box because A, I'm paying for something I don't want, but also B, I feel really guilty opening something from the 80s or 90s because obviously it's a finite supply. It's funny, you're laughing thinking I'm joking. I'm dead fucking serious. That's how crazy I am. But I feel guilt, even if it's something, like I just bought something from Dune, one of those vehicles from the 80s, LJN.
Sandworm?
What's that?
Sandworm?
It wasn't the Sandworm, it was the smaller version of the spice mining thing.
This
And
yeah.
I got it for like $50. Loose, it probably would have been 20, but I wanted it mint condition. How many of those are still on the card? So I opened it, but I felt bad about it. So I would have much preferred to have gotten it not on the card.
So what did you do with the card?
I send all that stuff to either I literally will go to Blast from the Past in Burbank and be like,
Love those guys. by
they're the best.
Love those guys.
They are the best. And I will literally be like, here, you want this? And And they're like, well, you know, we're not gonna pay a lot for that. I'm like, no, it's free. I'm gonna throw it out otherwise. And they're like, yeah, we'll take it. I've bought stuff from them in the box, and I'm like, hey, you want to keep the box? And Larry will be like, well, I mean, yeah, but I'm not lowering the price. I'm like, I don't even want the price lower, because I'd rather that he make money on it than it go in my garage and piss her off, and also nobody sees it.
I feel like I bought just a box from Blast from the Past for $50 before.
If it was
That
a
was
snow
probably your box. It
speeder,
was probably your box.
if it was a snow speeder, that was my box.
It was Star Wars Micro Collection Freeze Chamber.
No, that was not me. And I'm curious, did you buy that because you had one and you wanted to put it all together and sell it for a higher price?
No, I bought it for a personal collection.
Got
Like I have personal collection things that I do. Like I don't really even, it's gonna sound crazy, I don't really even care about toys that much like that. Like, but everything to me, when it comes to toys, connects me to my dad. So there's certain things that I go after, and I go after really, really hard. That's it. I'm not the guy that's gonna just buy things to flex my nuts that, oh, it's a foreign thing, and
Yeah,
nobody
I'm
else
the
can
same.
get it. You know, I don't do that. Everything has a personal collection. Everything that I buy means something to me. Typically, it comes down to me and my dad.
I'm the same, well, with one major exception. I don't buy the stuff that does remind me of my dad. But the only exception to that is design. Like, if there is a brilliant design, even if it doesn't have an emotional value, like Robotech, I know very little about Robotech, but I find their designs are so brilliant. I have a gigantic Robotech line just because of the design. And I actually started watching the show because I was collecting the toys. That's one of the only times I've done that.
Barnett is the expert and collector
Oh.
of Robotech.
Expert, Mike. No, actually, that's accurate.
Yes.
I am an expert relative to everything.
Yes.
Well, that's a great segue. Juan, the interview that you did on A Toy Store Near You, you do talk a lot about your dad, and you do say how he inspired and he has a huge impact, and he is the reason why you do the charitable things that you do around the city and around Houston and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure you've done charitable things around Texas and everything. What do you think your old man will say to you now?
Why the fuck couldn't you get more people in this stadium? Like, I think that's the first thing he would say. But look, at the end of the day, he never cared about any of this kind of stuff. He just liked what he liked, right? And so he taught me to just like what you like. I mean, I don't even really think this city is that pretty, like, in my personal opinion. But I'm all about Houston. Like, throw up the H, all that stuff. And I wouldn't let anybody talk shit about this city just because he showed me things about this place that are beautiful. And so I never let anyone talk about this city. So I think if he could look at what I'm doing right now and just see that, we've been on this show that's distributed worldwide, right? Like all the stuff that we do charity-wise and how everything we do has been about the community. Like, I don't know if people really realize that I feel like we're the only store in a toy store near you that actually featured people that are supposed to be our competition. Like, we brought in the Weekend Warriors, we brought in the toy shows, because we wanted it to be about Houston. So I think my dad I don't believe in heaven, I don't believe in hell. So if he's looking at me anywhere, I think the thing he would say is, I'm fucking proud of you, man. And that's the most important thing to me when it comes to this.
So you really care about Houston?
I love Houston. I love Houston.
You really care about Houston, so Whataburger or In-N-Out?
In-N-Out, all day, every day. Whataburger's trash.
Those are
It tastes like
burgers.
the bottom of the trash can juice.
Houston, get him, Houston. Go Russell.
Have you had Whataburger yet?
I have.
It's terrible, right?
I can't dig it, but I don't have the most upscale taste.
Do you like In-N-Out more? Being from California, you like In-N-Out more?
I've had In-N-Out, for every time I've had Whataburger, I've had In-N-Out 5,000 times. So
Whataburger's okay if there's no In-N-Out.
I like In-N-Out. I don't get why it's so popular.
McDonald's is better than Whataburger.
I completely agree.
Burger King is better than
1,000%
McDonald's.
agree. Good for you for
I'm
saying
just
that
saying,
out loud.
like,
You're gonna get shot now by somebody.
I don't
but
give a
that's
shit about
good
that,
for you.
but I mean, anything
I agree. I'll get
besides
shot too.
Jack in the Box is better than Whataburger.
What about that? I've eaten there like 8 times, gotten real sick. 6 of them.
That's what I'm saying. Anything better than anything other.
Shake Shack is the best. Have you had Shake Shack?
I like Shake Shack.
Shake Shack's legit.
Hey, Brian, I got another show for you. Burger Wars. There you go, bro.
I would love that. Believe me, we'll get to fast food, God willing. Believe me.
So bringing the conversation kind of back to the show, you said the first season started more about COVID and like the effects and dealing with all that, and they kind of developed. How has the show developed in those 4 seasons, and where do you see it going from there?
So I think season 1 was like 80% COVID, 20% toys. Season 2 was the opposite of that, 80% about the toys, 20%, and by toys I mean the toy stores, the customers and all that, and no COVID. And by season 3 it was 100% about the toys and the toy stores and the customers and the staff. But weirdly enough, because we're selling the show all over the world, there are many countries that want the COVID stuff because they're very curious. And again, we certainly by no means did this on purpose, but they're very curious to see. By the way, by many countries, I basically mean Japan. They're very curious how America dealt with COVID. So like, we've licensed the show to networks that aren't even like toy, like they're not even buying.
Are we going to be dubbed in Japanese?
That's what
I don't think they do that actually. That's interestingly enough. But
So it'll just be us cursing in English like we usually do?
yes, yeah, they'll take care of that. But the thing that's interesting is the two networks in Japan that bought the show, like they didn't buy it because it was about toys. They bought it as like a slice of life to America in 2020. Yeah, it was really interesting because we were telling them like, hey, just so you know, future seasons do not involve COVID, and they're like, oh, we don't want those future seasons. And we're like, oh, okay.
Well, Juan and Super Happy Team, you guys were saying earlier that you film a lot. You do a lot of content leading up to everything. Do you have any plans for some other future type of television online show?
Yeah, well, so in January we're filming the pilot to our reality show. It's been pushed back. Like so there's this guy. His name is Raul. He's part of the highest rated radio show in Los Angeles. It's called El Bueno Mala Feo, right? And it's a big show. BMF is what they call it. And he's a big toy collector. So he wanted to produce a show about us, and not about the toys so much because he knows that the toys are always kind of the backdrop for me, man, and it's about the people. And so yeah, it's been pushed back like time and time again because of COVID. But we're filming it in January because I told him I needed at least 3 or 4 more months to lose some weight because I got fat, during COVID. So I told him I need some time. But we're filming in January, and we're going to pitch it to a bunch of different networks. Just so you know.
I'm ready.
Just so you
I'm ready.
know.
I need 3 toys-related shows, not just 2.
So no other reality type show in the works? Some Saturday Fight Night type deal in Toy Shop?
No, nothing like that.
No words to say, all right.
I mean, nothing like that.
No, I mean, you'd like to delve in. You said earlier, you said some dirty laundry. Now, Juan, I have some dirty laundry upon you, sir. So a couple of years ago, there was a challenge made on social media to another Houston-based toy show, or toy company, toy vendor, toy store. Whatever happened to that? I'm curious to that.
Hey, what are you talking about?
I'm not too sure. Mishap Toys, I can't remember the name right now, but there was like something that was challenged on social media. Does that challenge is still available?
Well, okay, so people like to talk about this one time that there's another toy store, and this is what happens, so when you're in a city like Houston, it gets competitive, right? So there'll be a toy store and there'll be another toy store where, it gets competitive. So the fans of one toy store will start to get into it with the fans of another toy store, and it becomes a competition. Now, I did offer to box the owner of another toy store here in Houston for charity. Like, it did happened a couple years ago. Look, I'm 46 years old now, right? I boxed for a long time when I was growing up, but I'm 46 years old now. So people ask all the time, like, is the challenge still available? Yes. If he is willing to get in the ring with me, if he can stand up for three-minute rounds, I will give him $1,000.
Well, there you have it, folks. $1,000
Big
for this
words.
Charity match. Well, no, it's a charity match, so it's $1,000 for charity. Any
Yeah, well,
charity.
everybody that pays to, watch this fight, like two old-ass dudes, like, throwing punches at each other. I mean, if people want to pay for that, then yeah, all that money go to charity.
Nice. Well, there you have it. Let's get the word out there, folks. Let's have this match, because I kind of want to see it. Mr. 46-year-old boxing another dude, that'd be fine. Can it happen like at Super Happy, or where can you go?
It can
Or
happen.
can this be televised on streaming?
Absolutely.
Nice.
That's definitely going to happen now, right?
This next question is for Bunneth and Colin. So you guys have been with Super Happy for quite some time, and you guys do consider yourselves a family. That's the message I got across from the television show or the streaming show. So what, do you guys have y'all's own toy collection, or do y'all specialize in y'all's own toy genre? What do you guys specialize in?
So I think that's what makes Super Happy a little different from other places, is we are passionate about toys. We are passionate about our own collections. We know the thrill of finding that grail that you've been looking for, and we like giving other people that same feeling. If you come in and you're looking for something and we don't have it, we'll use our network to help that person find it. We just, like Juan said, this isn't our competitors, this is our community. And we kind of look at ourselves as, I don't know, this is gonna sound kind of, conceited, but we kind of consider ourselves the harbingers of this great hobby, and we just want everybody to feel as good as we feel. And yeah, I got a pretty good Robotech collection.
He does.
So on that kind of note, what this round table kind of discussion, what do you think is the most lucrative nostalgia memorabilia piece at the moment?
Oh, that's hard to say. Everything's gone nuts now.
Oh, the prices here are mind-blowing.
Well, I think it's also dependent on the person and what they collect themselves. I mean, because everybody's different. Myself, mostly what I collect is Star Wars. I'm not really missing much from that run, so I've branched out into other things. But yeah, a lot of it's, everybody has their own niche.
So G.I. Joe doesn't necessarily outsell Transformers.
No, Transformers is number one by far. Nothing can fuck with Transformers, man. That's just the way it is. But Brian, I'm curious, man, are things more expensive in California than they are here?
If you had asked me that when I woke up this morning, I would have jumped up and down and said yes. And I don't know if it's this convention or not, but I mean, I cannot believe the price. I saw something today. It was the droids R2D2 and C3PO.
I saw that too.
I bought both of them for about $500 each 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's 2 years ago. That's 2 years ago.
That's 2 years ago.
That was
Yeah.
still then.
Things are from just last month. Things are.
So before I say what I saw today, how much would you be putting those on?
Well, this is gonna sound crazy coming from me, but I would defer to Colin on that because there is nobody I know more educated on fucking Star Wars and their prices than him. But he already has everything, so he hasn't been looking at prices for like 3 or 4 years either.
That's true, but I also, Brian, I agree that I think part of it's the market. I think part of it's the convention. if those were being priced at a store or privately.
How much were they?
They were $2,200 each. So what I paid like
Hey, that's a little
$900 for,
Carded.
they were 44. I got mine carded.
Sure.
Better condition than the ones
Sure.
I saw today. They were 4,400. The craziest thing I saw today, I always mess up his name. What's the name of that crazy guy? But all he looks like a standing up iguana or something.
Amanda Man.
Yeah. I have a picture of this. I took a picture. That's how much it cracked me up. It said, and it was the regular size. I mean, if I wouldn't have looked at it twice, but it said on it, replica.
$100.
Yes.
I saw the same one. There was a yak face also. That's
Why would that
the
be
same one.
$100 if it's a replica?
Well, because
I had never seen that.
because legit Amanda Man is what, $600, $500?
Carded, yes.
Oh, loose, I think now, right?
No,
At this
loose, I
point?
would say
Anyway, I just want to
Please.
say, I am so glad my wife is not paying attention to this. Are you hearing this, baby?
I'm so glad my
Ron's
girlfriend.
right.
I'm so glad my girlfriend knows that I had all these things before I met her. So she knows that I'm.
You're in good shape.
And Colin's the guy that takes like cans, he goes to the grocery store and
Oh,
takes a
dear
can and
God.
throws it on the floor so that he can get a dented can price on it.
It's
to save
botulism.
10 cents.
That's what we said. That's what we said.
That's the same thing we told him.
I don't do that intentionally. I might buy it if it's already priced or reduced price because it's dented, but I don't intentionally dent the fucking can.
But you heard,
Right.
even Brian told you could get botulism. Just so you know.
29 cents is 29 cents.
Anyway, I just want to say, I think it's terrible you do that, and I will start doing it on Monday.
Okay.
Thank you for that idea.
Just don't dent it on the seams.
So,
That's right, yeah, avoid the seams.
so we've actually talked about this at the store. Why has, vintage toys been going up exponentially?
This is normally where I get punched.
You might be the architect
Yeah.
of your own doom. Every time a new episode of the Toys That Made Us came out, they're so well made. Even people that don't even collect toys, it makes them feel nostalgic all of a sudden, and it makes them want to go like after that line that made them feel so good when they were a child.
I was in, was it Rogue Toys in Vegas? I was in Rogue Toys. It was in between season 2 and season 3 of Toys That Made Us. And I see this guy looking at me, and I'm like, and this was all kind of new for me at the time. I was like, oh, this guy wants an autograph or a picture. This is great. And again, there's some kids in here, so I'll be respectful. But he literally walks by me and goes, F you, and walked out. And I was telling people that story, and I'm like, why would he do that? And they're like, dude, prices have like gone up by 1 trillion percent since your show. I'm like, oh. But I always mess up his name. I always psych myself out. I bought Stinkor. It's not Skunkor, right?
Stinkor.
Woo! I got it.
He smells like
I bought-
patchouli.
Yeah. I bought Stinkor for $8 the week before Toys That Made Us came out. I was in Atlanta shooting something. I saw it. And the only reason I bought it was because I was never a He-Man fan until Toys That Made Us. And I literally bought it. I'm like, it was my first He-Man figure I ever bought. And I was like, oh, it's such a great story. I want to have it on my shelf. And like, yeah, those are going for like 80 to 200 now. And by the way, they were going for 80 a month after the show came out. So, yeah.
So these vintage toys that you guys have and possess, could you say they are the new, like, I guess, baseball cards of yesteryear, or the Marvel masterpieces of yesteryear? Because, I mean, from what it sounds like, nostalgia can be very lucrative.
Well, perhaps they're the baseball cards. But before we get into that, I have to ask you something, Brian, real quick. Sorry, but I really enjoy the Toys That Made Us. I think it's a great show. But the Movies That Made Us is so fucking amazing. Like, I love that show. And everything, like, you've hit everything that I've wanted to see. Dirty Dancing, the horror stuff. I didn't even think I cared about horror movies until watching
Dude,
it.
I watched those movies for the first time after those shows were greenlit. I'm not a horror fan at all.
Dude, brilliant. But what I want to ask you, person to person, is I've seen plenty of documentaries on Jaws. That's my favorite movie of all time. I'm not going to ask you to do that, but what I would just want to Brian, will you please one day do a Movies That Made Us on Footloose? That to me is.
So we're heading towards Jaws.
No.
This was going to be an
I've
easy
already,
answer.
I've already seen Jaws documentaries, but Footloose to me changed the entire way I look at the world. I learned to dance because of Footloose. So, just putting it out there, please consider Footloose.
So if we were talking about Jaws, which I thought we were, my answer would have been like, stay tuned.
Oh my God. Okay, well.
If we're talking about Footloose, my answer is going to be, stay tuned. But how long do you think you're going to live? So slightly longer answer, but yeah, stay tuned.
Well, I guess at this time that we're going to open up the
Saying there's a
microphone.
chance.
If you guys have any questions out there you want to ask Brian and the Super Happy team, please come up. Don't be shy. Come on, guys. Don't be shy. Go up there and ask these panel of men some questions. Don't be shy. But if you can't, Juan, so what is the next? What's next for Super Happy? What's in the future, far distant future? Also, Brian, what other projects do you have in the work?
Well, I mean, I want to make Super Happy something that's I'm a big fan of Astroworld, obviously, right? So I want to make Super Happy something that people look at the way they look at Astroworld. You know, when Super Happy is gone, because it's not going to last forever, when Super Happy is gone, I want people to look at it the way we look back on Astroworld now. I want it to be a Houston landmark. I want it to be a something that people remember taking, you know, being a father and taking their kids to and celebrating. That's what I want. So I just want Super Happy to be remembered. That's it.
Brian? Oh, we have a question in the audience.
Here we go. Great shirt.
Super Happy. What's up, guys? Fuck Misfits. First off, I just wanted to ask, in all the years of being in Super Happy Incredible, what has been the number one moment that stood out, that's defined the store and your friendship? Like, what is the best moment that y'all have had and been able to share together?
That's a hard ass question, Chris.
You know what? We all talk about what was the most fun we ever had. And I would say it's probably when we all went to Chattanooga together for the G.I. Joe convention. We did it, Paul fucking left, but you know, Paul's the biggest G.I. Joe fan. We did it for him, but it was a chance for all of us to, like, you know, go somewhere big together and, you know, just being in a different place, just us against, you know, everybody else. You know, we were in a totally different state, you know, vending in a con we never vended at. And you know, we did pretty good. We did actually really good, and
it was fucking fun.
Yeah. It was like, it was one of those family moments. It's one of those things we got to do together, and you know, it's just anything that we can get. We all have separate lives, you know, so anything that we can make the time to be together for something like that, it's always very special. One's gonna make fun of me for.
No. I mean, that's cool. That was a good moment, and I'm not catering to anybody, but December 25th, 2021, to me, was the greatest moment for me in the history of Super Happy, because our episode of A Toy Store Near You aired, and it broke on Christmas fucking morning, of all mornings in 2021.
What a coincidence.
And I felt like we were the gift. This is gonna sound crazy, but I felt like we were the gift that people needed to see. I watched A Toy Store Near You leading up to that, and everybody was depressing and talking about COVID and how sad it was, and maybe we're not gonna open up our doors. And I said, we're not gonna be about that. We're gonna be about hope. And so to get our episode aired on Christmas morning was, to me, the apex of what this store is and what the store has been. I'm so proud of, like, all of us, me in particular, because I'm fucking amazing, but just, I was proud of everything that we've done up to that point, and for someone like Brian and his team to see us and appreciate what we were was just humbling and gratifying and everything that we could have hoped for. So if I died tomorrow, like the greatest moment we've ever had for this store was that episode airing, because I think it showed the world who the fuck we were, and I'm proud of that.
Very, very proud to have played a tiny part in that, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
Big words.
Before we kind of fade on out, I want to ask you like a couple of fun questions. Juan, we've actually asked you a couple of these questions before on a previous interview that we did with you. But just going kind of down the line, answer as quickly as you guys possibly can. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Juan, we'll start with you. Come on, bro, I said as fast as you can.
I want Gambit's ability to bang every chick he can fucking possibly find.
I'm an expert on this because my 7-year-old asks me frequently. I'm assuming unlimited superpowers is not a viable answer.
Nobody's ever actually come up with that.
Then I want unlimited superpowers.
All right.
My 7-year-old will not let me say that.
It's that wishing for more wishes.
Well, if you're a vintage toy collector, the obvious answer is time travel.
Damn it.
Or unlimited superpowers plus one.
Hey, it's got to
I was
be.
gonna say time travel, but just because I'm infatuated with time travel, but for a bunch of reasons too. If I've got to be original real quick, I'm not going to be.
You don't even know how time travel works, though.
We don't have time to get into that.
Just go with laser eyes. It's always safe.
That or invisibility.
Yeah.
With that power, would you guys be a hero or villain? Juan, I don't even feel like you need to answer. We can go on right past you.
I'd definitely be a hero right now. I'd definitely be a hero.
I would be a villain leaning hero. I'd still be a hero, but I'd be one of the edgier ones.
Oh yeah, I would definitely be an anti-hero. Or one of those, what's the opposite of that? When you're like the
Anti-villain?
anti-villain?
That's a hero.
What's the opposite of anti-hero, right?
Villain.
Okay.
Probably a little bit of both, depending on the time.
Chaotic.
Yeah. There we go.
Other than what you do now, what would be another profession you would like to pursue?
Archaeologist.
You know, it's funny, if you had asked me that 3 years ago, I wouldn't have had an answer, but I recently found one. Disney Imagineer. That's the greatest job ever. I didn't get what they did until working with them.
Well, my full-time job is a graphic designer, but I don't know. Professional samurai? Can you do that?
Stuff samurai. Yeah.
Great.
My full-time job is a social worker.
He's an undercover hobo.
What's that? I'm gonna go with time traveler.
And next to last, each of you guys, what would you want in your personal collection, that nostalgic thing, that rosebud? What is the one thing that you want for your collection?
Well, today I want an Invincible #1. If you can find an Invincible #1, that's what I want today.
Vlix, very obscure character from Star
Damn
Wars.
it.
There's 2 things I don't have in my collection that I want. That is one of them. And that's like 80G minimum.
Okay, so when I said I had everything Robotech, I lied. There's one thing that eludes me, is the SDF-1 playset. Super rare, super expensive. I'm never gonna get it, so.
Again, mine is Lex,
Wow.
the only Star Wars figure I do not have.
By the way, if you haven't seen the DVD box set of Toys That Made Us, there is a 7-minute pod on Vlix that Netflix, it is the only thing Netflix made us cut. And it's on the...
Okay, I'll have to check that out. I did come very close once to getting a Blix, but somewhere in my black heart, I was honest with someone and told them what they had, so I didn't buy a Flex for $40.
Oh. See, you are a superhero. You're not a villain. You are not a villain, dude.
Sometimes I still kick myself about that one, but
Sounds like that's a power of the Super Happy Incredible team, to be honest. Oh, got great hearts. So on that note, I think we're actually going to start winding down. We do have a giveaway that we got to do for you guys really quick. But before we do that, why don't you guys sign off, say who you are again, and where everybody can follow you.
Okay, well, real quick, I know Brian bought one of our shirts recently, but we just designed a new shirt. And so I want to present Brian with this shirt of the most, this is the best Super Happy shirt of all time, because it features me. So that's for you, Brian.
I love it. Hold on.
Put it on now.
Look at that.
Also, I want to talk about my
Thank you.
superpower
Thank
again.
you, Juan.
Well, I would like to have Gambit's ability. I think flying would be more appropriate, since I already have the perfect woman in my baby Katrina. I don't need Gambit's power to be able to bang everybody.
Well, hold on, Russell. You kind of you cut it off a little bit. So wait a minute. If you guys had 1 week to spend in a fantasy world or a fantasy whatever, where would it be?
That's a great question. Here you go, Juan.
Yeah, please.
Zootopia. I'd love that.
Nice.
No, the Westworld. You get to live in the future, and then you can still do like old westerny times and
I don't know,
samurai
man. That
times.
show's a little boring.
Yeah, but then you got your Predator all over you.
No, the new
Oh,
one.
the new one.
That
Okay.
Harris.
All right. He's creepier.
He is.
wait, what's the question?
Where would you live?
1 week. You had 1 week to spend in a fantasy world. Where would it be?
I got mine now. I want to roll around in like that little flower bed on the booth, like Anakin and Padme, with my precious Katrina.
Nice. Colin, what
Was that in
about
the
you?
booth?
I'm
Yes.
gonna go with indoor just because I don't know why.
Just 1 week in indoor?
Why not?
Nice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here for the 2022 Comicpalooza panel for our Super Happy Group Toys and a toy store near you. Juan, lead us out. Where can the people find you? Where can they follow you? Where can they buy at your shop?
Yeah, so we're at 740 West 20th Street between Shepherd and Durham. We're here at the show, booth 1624. We're easy to find. Google us, Super Happy Incredible Toys. Some kind of bullshit will pop up from us.
Brian Volk Weiss, Instagram, under my name, 2660 West Olive Avenue, Burbank, California.
Go ahead, and Colin.
I'm not that interesting. Don't follow me for any reason.
I'm on Facebook, but yeah, I'm affiliated with Super Happy. Awesome. Thank y'all for being
Thank
here.
y'all so
for
much.
being here.
Definitely thank you so much for coming out. And we have a special giveaway for you guys, courtesy of Comic Cave Podcast, brought to you by Super Happy Incredible Toys.
And while Walker, our albino life bro, is walking on down with the hat with all the tickets for you guys, I do want to shout out our awesome team. Thank you, Walker, for helping us out. And thank you, Eric, for filming us. You guys see some cameras here. We will be posting this online later on. So appreciate you guys so much. We are Comic Cave Podcast. And if you haven't noticed, we have this awesome Marvel Legends Spider-Man. This is what we're about to be giving away in 1 second.
Everybody give Juan a hand. Thank you, Juan, for joining us. Thank you for bringing us here, Juan. If it wasn't for Juan, we wouldn't be here, guys. So, Russell, what is the lucky number or ticket that our audience is going to get this Spider-Man from Marvel Legends?
Winning number is 339636. Say it one more time. 339636. Y'all got the little tickets? Going once. Going twice. 339636. All right. On to the next. How about 339646? 46. All right.
Everybody just first person up.
Right.
Anybody want Spider-Man?
Anyone with the Spider-Man? Oh, one more time. 339646. 339643. All right, first person to do a jumping jack. Oh no, here we go. All right, we got our winner. Thank you guys so much. We are Comicpalooza Podcast. Thank you guys, Brian, for running this around.
Thank you. Appreciate it.